Not quite live from West Hollywood, California. It's Olympics or Bust Trials Talk. Featuring LA's most self-professed Olympaholics, Charley Walters and Tyler Duckworth. Tonight's topic, track and field. And now, please give a gold medal welcome to Charley and Tyler.
So let's talk about trials talk. We had a big week.
So much to talk about.
Charley's a little more of a track and field kind of guy. I'm more gymnastics, swimming.
This is true.
You know, so we speak from different points. But so talk to me about some of your initial thoughts about the beginning of the week.
Yeah, well, obviously we started off with track and field from Eugene, Oregon, and just to do a little weather report, the weather cannot be suckier. I actually was really mad that they were letting these people run because it looked incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, these are if this is a rain delay tape coverage of what's actually going on, it makes me even more nervous.
Right.
And I think when I saw them actually doing pole vaulting in the rain, I thought, probably not so kosher. But, yeah. I mean, what would you think about you've run a couple track and field meets in your life. Talk to me about that.
I have, back in Chicago, right after we met, and it's not fun. I mean, in one way you could say, like, okay, everybody's affected, but I don't know, like, to me, people come from different climates. Some are more used to running in the rain than others, and I don't think it's fair. Like, I think they should have postponed it. One of the disadvantages, of course, of holding U.S. trials a month before the Olympics, which let's talk a little bit about that because
later.
At
the same time, though, I don't mean to interrupt, but it is London that the athletes are going to be competing in.
Right.
London's not known for its warm, Mediterranean, climate.
Yeah.
So I think the athletes do need to be ready, and lest we not forget, I do believe we did see the women's 3,000 steeplechase in pouring rain in Beijing.
And the very first time they ever ran that event.
And it might have been acid rain, so let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Actually, come to think of it, compared to the weather in Beijing, London's going to seem like a dream no matter what, even if it is pouring.
What was your biggest surprise? Talk to me about your biggest surprise.
The biggest thing that's been on my mind all week is the Allyson Felix and Geneva Tarmo tie, which has never happened in Olympic history, so this was incredible. First of all, we got to meet and interview Allyson Felix in New York, which is really exciting, and I just was really taken by her from the beginning. She's so charismatic and I think represents the U.S. so well. So what happened, in case you didn't watch, is that the two of them finished for third, literally at the exact same time, and the rule is different in track than it is in equestrian. In equestrian, if your horse's...
I should hope so.
If your horse's foot crosses first, the horse wins. In track and field, it's actually judged by your torso. And when they looked at it from every angle, they actually declared it a complete dead tie.
Which is interesting, because at the beginning, they had said that Allyson Felix actually got in fourth place.
Yep. And
I think what's also interesting about this scenario is that they're training partners. And their coach, Bob Kersey, was very much insistent that this would not be decided until after the women's 200-meter had been decided.
He's still saying that as of today. By the way, we're 4 days later now into this, and this is still not decided. And what's happened, since they didn't have a rule for this, is that the association has had to make a rule. It's very complicated.
Well, what I don't think a lot of people at home know is that, like we saw in Beijing with the Nasty Luke and He Kashin controversy on uneven bars, is that every Olympics, their tiebreaker scenario is different.
Yeah.
So each quadrennium, it's kind of different. And I don't like that, personally, because if it's a tie, it's a tie. I think especially in track and field or swimming, where there's a height or there's a score, it's a tie.
Right.
In Seoul in '88, they had a lot of ties in gymnastics. But then if they come up with, well, if these 3 scores are dropped, if these 2 scores are added, or in swimming, it's a tie is a tie. So talk to me about what your impression is on, should there be a standard procedure for tiebreakers?
Of course there should be a standard procedure, and this is why they're getting really criticized, I think, is the fact that there isn't a standardized procedure. They had to meet on it over 24 hours, and then what they announced, which still isn't official, is that it's up to the athletes to decide. It's either going to be a coin toss or they have to rerun the race. If one of them chooses the coin toss, I mean, it's so complicated. So obviously, in my mind, they should rerun the race. I mean, that's what I think.
In swimming, this happens all the time. You have a swim-off.
Yeah.
And it happens right after the event. Now, the fact of the matter is that they're both competing the 200 meters, and that there's no procedure set,
Right.
I think is actually unfair to the rest of the competitors in the field.
That's true.
What is to say if Allyson Felix was perhaps an 800-meter runner?
Right.
And that she's like, listen, my trials are done. I want to run this. My taper's done now. I want to run this race now. From what I understand, this actually happened at the 84 trials.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought this was the first.
No, this happened at the 84 trials, but their technology wasn't as good, so...
Oh, so they couldn't tell.
Omega Timing needs to kind of step in and give us some commentary on what they would do.
Omega had a couple accidents today at swimming
Swim
too.
trials. But there was some other disappointments. Let's talk about men's decathlon. Cut. Yeah, I'm so worried about this. I know.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah, I'm just so worried.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Oh, Ashton, amazing. Yes. Okay.
What's his last name again? Ashton Eaton?
Not for sure.
No.
Ashton Eaton, yes. Okay, Ashton Eaton, I love this moment.
That was after he had a couple defeated throws in the discus.
Yeah.
It reeked of Horkina in 2000. That's all I'm going to say.
The whole thing was just a big mess. But I do have to say this, of all of the visuals so far that I've seen, the moment where Ashton crosses that finish line and breaks the world record at trials, very unexpected. And I love, I don't know the guy's name, but he's to his right, and you see him being just as excited as Ashton because he realizes, even though he's just been beat, that he's just witnessed history. And that was incredible.
Yeah, and he moves over to his right and allows him to pass through.
It was really cool. That was an amazing moment.
I mean, I will say this, what was exciting about the men's decathlon at the trials was that I think the three competitors, the top three competitors, really had a chance to sweep the podium. And I think that very, very rarely happens in sport.
Yep.
It happened in '91 at the U.S. World Figure Skating Championships.
Yes, it did.
With Christy Yamaguchi, Tanya Harding, and Nancy Kerrigan.
Shout out to you all.
Shout out to you, Tanya Harding. But I think it's, even in today's day and age with the diversified sporting ability across the planet,
yes,
to have the top three decathletes all being from the United States, that was exciting.
It is exciting.
I mean, Ryan Clay's been one of the biggest hyped athletes coming into these Olympics.
Sponsored by Ribos.
Yes, sponsored by Ribos and BP, as we've seen a lot of the Olympic commercials. So what does an athlete like that do? If you were him, what would you do? What do you? Dan didn't even go.
There's a lot that can go wrong in this sport, and obviously, what's extra disappointing, you know, this was his hometown, his home school, his home state. I mean, of all places for him to have this happen, it is sad. So we're sorry.
Any other closing thoughts on track and field?
Not really. I mean, we have a lot hanging in the balance that we're going to watch tomorrow, and we're going to see who makes the finals. And I'm just very excited. I think it's going to be a really great year for track and field in general.
Yeah, I mean, they had a rather spectacular showing in Beijing. There was a lot of relay issues, batons dropped, failings to win gold medals. And I think there's a lot of redemption. I think there's a good mix between the veterans.
Yep.
There's first-time Olympians that are going to be on the team.
Yep.
I think there's my favorite. I'm obsessed with Carmelita Jeter.
Yeah, she's great.
I like her half bang, Aaliyah style, swooped over the right eye. Like, she just doesn't mess around. Like, you know this girl's not messing around when she gets on the track without even so much as a bow holding her hair back. She's looking at it at the track, one eye. She's straight out of the Lion King, like Simba. She's like ready to.
Can I tell you my favorite non-Olympaholic quote of the week?
What?
Someone who remained nameless. I mentioned Carmelita Jeter's name, and they said, "Is she related to that guy from the Yankees?"
Oh God. Typical.
Oh, non-Olympaholics. All right, so let's go on to diving.
Yeah. Do you want to do a quick cut? Let's take a rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, we might need to change for diving, so hold on. We'll be right back in our diving outfits.